Can you help me find my mother? The thin voice cut through the freezing air of Grand Central Terminal like a blade. Victor Ashworth stopped in the middle of the crowded concourse, his $3,000 Italian shoes frozen on the marble floor. He looked down and saw a girl no older than 8, her face smudged with soot, her blue eyes glistening with tears. "I don't have time for this," he replied curtly, stepping around her. "Please, sir." The girl grabbed the hem of his overcoat. "She said she'd be back, but it's been 3 days." Victor yanked his coat free, pulling the fabric from her small, dirty hands. "Find a cop, kid. I'm not a social worker." He kept walking, his phone buzzing non-stop in his pocket. It was the partners, the lawyers, the usual parasites wanting a piece of him. On that Christmas Eve, Victor Ashworth was worth $4.7 billion. He owned Ashworth Global Investments, one of the largest financial technology firms in the world. He had apartments in Manhattan, London, and Dubai. He dined with senators and powerful executives, and he was completely alone. "Mr. Ashworth," the voice of Douglas, his driver, came through his earpiece. "The car is waiting at the 42nd Street exit." "On my way." He crossed the main concourse without looking at the happy families embracing, without noticing the Christmas lights decorating every corner, without feeling anything but the emptiness he'd carried for 5 years since he lost Isabel, since the accident took his 8-year-old daughter on Christmas Eve, the same age as that little girl. Victor stopped. "Damn it," he muttered, closing his eyes. He turned around and searched for the girl in the crowd. He couldn't see her. The concourse was too packed, thousands of people rushing in every direction. She had vanished just as well, he told himself. Not my problem. He continued toward the exit, but something in his chest tightened in a way he hadn't felt in years. A familiar pain, an old guilt. That's when he heard the shouting. "Get out of here, brat. I already told you that you can't stay here." Victor turned. A station security guard was holding the girl by the arm, dragging her toward the exit. She was crying, trying to break free. "Please, mister, my mom's coming back," she promised. "Your mom abandoned you, kid. This isn't a shelter. Get out on the street." Something inside Victor broke. "Take your hands off her." His voice came out so cold, so loaded with authority, that the guard released the girl immediately. "Sir, this child is... I saw what she's doing. She's waiting for her mother, and you're assaulting a minor." The guard turned red. "You don't know who Victor Ashworth. I owned 15% of the shares in this station through the Ashworth Capital Investment Fund. Do you want to continue this conversation, or would you rather look for another job tomorrow?" The silence was absolute. The guard backed away, muttering apologies, and disappeared into the crowd. Victor looked at the girl. She was trembling, her thin arms wrapped around her own body. "What's your name?" Grace. 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 Holloway. "Where's your mother?" Grace. Her blue eyes filled with tears again. "She said she was going to get food. She told me to wait here, that she'd be right back. But that was 3 days, Victor finished, feeling his stomach turn. "You've been here alone for 3 days?" Grace nodded, tears streaming down her dirty face. "She's coming back, sir. My mom loves me. She would never abandon me." Victor crouched down, bringing himself to the girl's eye level. He saw up close the torn coat, the worn-out shoes, the hands cracked from the cold, and he also saw something that made him lose his breath. Around Grace's neck, hanging from an old cord, was a pendant, a silver angel, identical to the one Isabel wore the day she died. Where did you get that?" Victor's voice faltered. Grace touched the pendant tenderly. "My mom gave it to me. She said it would protect me." Victor felt his legs weaken. The world spun. The Christmas lights blurred into a golden haze as memories he fought to forget exploded in his mind. Isabel running through the house on Christmas Eve. Isabel opening her present. Isabel putting the pendant around her neck with that smile that lit up everything. "Daddy, will the angel protect me forever?" Forever, my princess. But it didn't protect her. Nothing protected her. "Sir, are you okay?" Grace's voice brought him back. Victor took a deep breath, trying to compose himself. "I am. Are you? Are you hungry?" Grace's eyes sparkled with painful hope. "I am, sir. Very hungry." Victor stood up and extended his hand. "Come with me." Grace hesitated. "My mom said not to go with strangers." "Your mom is right, but you also can't stay here alone. I'm going to take you to get something to eat, and then we'll figure out what happened to her." "Okay." Grace looked at the extended hand, then at Victor's face. Something in those gray, sad eyes seemed to convince her. She placed her small, freezing hand in his. And in that moment, without either of them knowing, both their destinies changed forever. The restaurant at the St. Regis Hotel was practically empty that Christmas Eve. Most people were at home, celebrating with their families. But Victor Ashworth had no family. Not anymore. Mr. Ashworth, the manager, came running as soon as he saw them enter. "What an honor to have you. Your usual table is..." The man stopped when he saw Grace, the dirty, ragged little girl, completely out of place in that setting of crystal chandeliers and linen tablecloths. "Sir, perhaps the young lady could wait somewhere." "The young lady is going to sit with me." Victor cut him off. "Is there a problem?" "Oh, no, sir. Of course not." They were led to a private table in the corner. Grace looked at everything with wide eyes, her little hands gripping the edge of the upholstered chair. "Is this a castle?" she whispered. "It's a hotel. Do people live here?" "Some do. It must cost a lot of money." Victor almost smiled. "Almost. What do you want to eat?" Grace, the girl, picked up the menu, but her eyes didn't move across the pages. Victor understood immediately. "You can't read." Grace lowered her head, embarrassed. "My mom was going to teach me, but we never had time. She worked too much." "That's okay. I'll choose for you. Do you like chicken?" Her blue eyes sparkled. "I love it. My mom used to make chicken on Christmas. Before everything got hard." Victor ordered roasted chicken, mashed potatoes, vegetables, and a hot soup to start. When the food arrived, Grace attacked it as if she hadn't eaten in days, because she probably hadn't. "Slow down," Victor said gently. "The food isn't going anywhere." Grace stopped, embarrassed again. "Sorry, sir. You don't need to apologize, and you can call me Victor." Victor. She tested the name. "That's a strong name." My mom said, "Strong names protect us." "Your mom sounds like a special woman." "Tell me more about her." Grace wiped her mouth with a napkin, imitating the gesture she saw Victor make. "Her name is Rebecca. Rebecca. She has hair like mine, but longer, and she sings really well. Every night she would sing me to sleep, even when we didn't have a proper place to live. You didn't have a home." "We did, but we lost it. Mom got sick and couldn't work. Then people came and made us leave." Victor felt his stomach turn. "And your father?" Grace's face closed like a door slamming shut. "I never had a father. Mom said he left before I was born. She said he was no good. that he was a bad man who only cared about money. Victor swallowed hard. How many men did he know who fit that description? Including himself. Before he lost Isabel. Where were you living lately? In a shelter in the Bronx. But Mom said she was going to get a good job. She said our lives were going to change. What kind of job? I don't really know. She said she was going to work for an important person, that this person owed her a lot. Victor frowned. Owed her a lot. What do you mean? I don't know. Mom didn't explain. She just said she was finally going to get what was rightfully ours. A strange sensation ran down Victor's spine. Something about this story didn't make sense. Grace, did your mother leave anything with you? Any paper, document, anything? The girl thought for a moment, then reached into the pocket of her torn coat. Just this. She told me to keep it and never lose it. It was a photograph. Crumpled, stained, but still visible. It showed a young, beautiful woman with blonde hair holding a baby in her arms. Behind her, an imposing building with a golden sign. Victor recognized the building immediately. It was the headquarters of Ashworth Global Investments. His company. Where did your mother get this photo? Victor's voice came out. I don't know. She always had it. She said it was taken on the happiest and saddest day of her life. Happy and sad at the same time. That's what she said. She never really explained. Victor's heart was pounding in his chest. Why did Grace's mother have a photo in front of his company? Who was this woman? Grace. What's your mother's full name? Her complete name, Rebecca Ann Holloway. But before, she had another name. I think it was Pierce. Rebecca Pierce. Pierce, the world stopped spinning. Rebecca Pierce, Victor knew that name. He knew it very well. It was the name of an employee who had worked for him 9 years ago. A beautiful, intelligent, dedicated administrative assistant. A woman he'd had a 3-month affair with while his wife was pregnant with Isabel. An affair he coldly ended when he found out Rebecca was also pregnant. It can't be, he murmured, more to himself than to Grace. Are you okay? You ain't, Pali Victor. Looked at the girl, really looked. The blue eyes, the shape of her face, the way she tilted her head when she asked a question. Isabel used to make the same gesture. Grace. His voice trembled. How old are you exactly? 8. I turn 9 in March. The 15th. March 15th. Exactly 9 months after his last encounter with Rebecca. My God, Victor whispered, feeling tears burning his eyes. My God. Mr. Victor, what's wrong? Did I do something wrong? Victor couldn't answer. The pieces were falling into place with terrifying clarity. Rebecca disappearing from work. Suddenly, the rumors that she had left town. The severance check he had his lawyer delivered to ensure her silence. He paid her to disappear. He paid to never see the child she was carrying. The child who was now sitting across from him, eating chicken in a luxury restaurant, not knowing that the man who saved her from the cold was the same one who abandoned her before she was born. Grace, Victor said, his voice failing. I need to tell you something. What? He opened his mouth, but no sound came out. How do you tell a child that you're the father who abandoned her? How do you explain that you paid for her not to exist in your life? M.R. Ashworth. Victor turned. Douglas, his driver, was standing next to the table. Sorry to interrupt, but Mrs. Patterson called 3 times. She said it's urgent. Miriam Patterson, his personal assistant for 10 years. if she was calling on Christmas Eve. It was truly important. Tell her I'll call back in an hour. She said they found something, sir, about the woman the police are looking for. What woman? Douglas looked at Grace, hesitant. Perhaps we should talk privately, sir. Victor stood up, his legs trembling. Grace, stay here. I'll be right back. Promise. Promise. He followed Douglas to the hallway, away from the girl's ears. Talk. Sir, the police found a woman unconscious near Penn Station. Documents identify her as Rebecca Holloway. She's at Bellevue Hospital. Apparently, she suffered an overdose. Victor felt his blood run cold. Overdose. Rebecca didn't use drugs. I don't know the details, sir. I only know she's in critical condition. She might not make it through the night. Victor looked back at Grace, who was waiting patiently at the table, swinging her little feet that didn't reach the floor. That little girl could lose her mother tonight, and he could lose the chance to fix the biggest mistake of his life. Douglas, bring the car around front. Now? Yes, sir. Victor went back to the table and crouched down in front of Grace. Listen, I need to take you somewhere. Where? A hospital. Grace's face twisted with fear. Hospital? Why? Am I sick? No, sweetheart, you're not sick. Then why? Victor held the girl's small, cold hands. Because we found your mother. Grace's eyes went wide, shining with hope and fear at the same time. Mom? You found Mom? Is she okay? Where is she? She's at the hospital. She needs you right now. Grace jumped to her feet, knocking the napkin to the floor. Then let's go. Let's go now. Why are we still here? Victor took her hand, and together they ran toward the exit. The snow kept falling over Manhattan, but neither of them felt the cold. Because that night, Christmas Eve, two destinies were about to collide in a way neither of them could imagine, and the truth waiting at Bellevue Hospital would change everything forever. The Rolls-Royce cut through the streets of Manhattan at high speed. Grace was kneeling on the back seat, her nose pressed against the window, her wide eyes trying to see through the snow that was falling harder and harder. Is it much farther? She asked for the 10th time. We're almost there, Victor replied, but his mind was elsewhere. Rebecca. After 9 years, Rebecca was just minutes away from him. The woman he had used and discarded as if she were nothing. The woman who carried his daughter alone, without any support, without any help. Mr. Victor. Yes. Do you know my mother? The question hit Victor like a punch to the stomach. Why are you asking that? Because you got weird when you saw the photo, and because you knew the name of the hospital without anyone telling you. 8 years old. That little girl was only 8 years old, and she was already more perceptive than most adults. Grace, do you know her or not? Victor took a deep breath. I did. A long time ago. Before you were born. And why did you never see her again? Because I was a coward. Grace frowned. What's a coward? It's someone who runs away when they should stay. Someone who chooses the easy path instead of the right one. Mom said my dad was like that he ran away when she needed him most. Victor closed his eyes, feeling every word like a stab wound. Your mom was right. The car stopped at the entrance to Bellevue Hospital. Victor got out first and extended his hand to Grace. Together, they walked through the automatic doors and into the chaos of the emergency room. I'm looking for a Rebecca Holloway, Victor told the receptionist. She was admitted today. Are you family? I'm responsible for her daughter. The receptionist looked at Grace, then Archivito, clearly trying to understand the connection. Room 412, fourth floor. But I need to warn you that Victor didn't wait for her to finish. He pulled Grace by the hand and walked to the elevator. Sir, wait. The doctor needs to speak with you first. But the elevator doors were already closing. Why did she yell? Grace asked, squeezing Victor's hand. I don't know, but we're going to find out. The elevator stopped on the fourth floor. The hallway was silent, lit only by dim fluorescent lights. A smell of disinfectant hung in the air. Room 410, 411. 412. Victor stopped in front of the door. Through the glass, he could see a figure lying in the bed, connected to several tubes and monitors. Mom! Grace let go of Victor's hand and ran into the room. She climbed onto the chair next to the bed and grabbed her mother's hand. Mom, it's me. I'm here. Wake up, Mom. Victor entered slowly, his heart beating so hard it hurt. Rebecca was unrecognizable, her face swollen, her lips cracked, her skin an ashen gray. The blonde hair he remembered as silky and shiny was now dull and tangled. What did they do to her? Victor murmured. Sir. He turned around. A middle-aged doctor was standing in the doorway, his white coat stained with coffee, his tired eyes behind glasses. I'm Dr. Brennan. Are you a relative of the patient? I'm an acquaintance. This is her daughter, Grace. The doctor looked at the girl, who was crying while clutching her mother's hand. Can we talk outside? Victor hesitated but agreed. They stepped out into the hallway. What's the situation? Serious. The doctor didn't try to soften it. Mrs. Holloway suffered an opioid overdose. We managed to stabilize her, but her organs are compromised. Her kidneys are failing. Her liver is overwhelmed. Is she going to survive? Dr. Brennan sighed. Honestly, I don't know. The next 24 hours will be critical. If she makes it through the night, she might have a chance. But I have to be honest, the odds are slim. Victor felt his legs weaken. She didn't use drugs. I knew her. She wasn't like this. The tests show prolonged use. At least 2 years. It probably started with prescription painkillers and progressed. 2 years, Victor repeated. She's been suffering for 2 years. Sir, may I ask what your relationship to the patient is? Victor looked through the glass. Grace was lying on the bed next to her mother, hugging her, whispering words he couldn't hear. I'm the man who destroyed her life. What do you mean? 9 years ago, Rebecca worked for me. We had a relationship. When she got pregnant, I fired her. I paid her to disappear. I never wanted to know about the child. The doctor showed no judgment, only professional understanding. And the girl, she's my daughter. I found out today. 2 hours ago? Sir, Dr. Brennan, I need you to do everything. Absolutely everything. Money is no object. Bring in the best specialists, the best equipment. I'll pay anything. We're doing everything we can, sir. But there are some things money can't buy. Victor went back into the room. Grace lifted her head, her eyes red from crying. She won't wake up, mister. Victor? Why won't she wake up? Her body is tired, Grace. She needs to rest. But it's Christmas. She promised we would spend Christmas together. She promised? Victor sat on the edge of the bed, on the other side of Rebecca. He looked at the face of the woman he had abandoned, the premature wrinkles, the deep dark circles, the marks of a life of suffering. Rebecca he whispered. "Forgive me. Please, forgive me." The monitors beeped at a steady rhythm. Beep, beep, beep. "Mr. Vitor." "Yes, Grace, you said you knew my mother. How did you meet?" Victor swallowed hard. "She worked for me." "Doing what?" "She was my assistant. She managed my schedule, organized my meetings." "Was she good at it?" "She was the best, the most dedicated, the most competent. I trusted her with everything." "Then why did she leave?" The hardest question, the most painful truth. "Because I made her leave." "Why?" "Because I was a bad man, Grace. A selfish man who only thought about himself." Grace was silent for a moment, processing. Mom said, "My dad was like that. Selfish. Your mom was right. Did you know my dad?" Victor felt tears streaming down his face. He didn't try to hide them. A.D. Was he really bad? He was the worst kind of person, Grace. The kind who hurts the people they love most. But if he was so bad, why did Mom like him? Because sometimes bad people disguise themselves as good people, and when you discover the truth, it's already too late. Grace looked back at her mother. "I wish I could meet my dad, just to ask him one thing." "What?" "Why he didn't want me. What I did wrong to make him leave." Victor's heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. "You didn't do anything wrong, Grace. Nothing. It was all his fault. All of it." Mom said the same thing. She said I was the greatest gift of her life. She said that even if the whole world rejected me, she would never abandon me. And she didn't abandon you. She's here, fighting. But she left. She left me alone at the station. She didn't want to. Grace, I'm sure she didn't want to. Something happened. Something stopped her from coming back. Suddenly, Rebecca's eyes moved. Her fingers trembled slightly. "Mom." Grace jumped up. "Mom, are you waking up?" Rebecca's eyes opened slowly, focusing with difficulty. First, they saw Grace. My angel." Her voice came out as a hoarse whisper. "Mom, I'm here. You came back." Then Rebecca's eyes moved to Victor. In the moment she recognized him, every monitor started beeping frantically. "You!" Rebecca tried to sit up, tearing out the tubes. "Not you. Stay away from her." "Rebecca, calm down. Stay away from my daughter. You're not going to take her from me." Nurses came running in. Grace was screaming, crying. Victor was pushed out of the room while the medical team tried to restrain Rebecca. "He's going to take her from me," Rebecca screamed. "He's going to take my daughter like he took everything." The door closed. Victor stood in the hallway, trembling as Rebecca's screams echoed through the floor. And Grace, trapped on the other side of the door, cried out for a mother who was protecting her from a monster she didn't know was her own father. Victor stood in the hallway for 20 minutes that felt like 20 hours. Rebecca's screams had stopped, replaced by a silence that was even more terrifying. Through the glass, he watched the medical team working frantically. "Mr. Ashworth." He turned around. A woman in a dark suit was approaching, a badge hanging from her neck, gray hair pulled back in a severe bun, eyes that had seen too much. "I'm Detective Clara Whitmore, Child Protective Services. We need to talk. Now isn't a good time." "I'm not asking, sir. The girl is under temporary state custody until we clarify the situation." Victor felt his blood boil. State custody? She has a mother who abandoned her at a train station for 3 days, a mother who overdosed on Christmas Eve. Do you understand my concern? Rebecca didn't abandon Grace. Something happened. And you know this because I know. Rebecca, she would never do this by choice. Detective Whitmore raised an eyebrow. You know her from where? Victor hesitated. Every word he said could be used against him. Against Rebecca, against Grace. She worked for me a few years ago. What kind of work? She was my personal assistant. And your relationship to the child? I found her at Grand Central. Alone, scared. I did what any decent person would do. Decent person. The detective smiled without humor. Mr. Ashworth, I've been investigating cases of abuse and neglect for 15 years. You know what I've learned? That billionaires don't rescue street children out of kindness. There's always something more. What are you implying? I'm not implying anything. I'm asking directly. Are you Grace Holloway's father? The question hung in the air between them. The door to the room opened. Dr. Brin came out. He's fussy pally. Mr. Ashworth, the patient wants to speak with you. Is she stable? For now, but she's very agitated. She insists on speaking with you before anything else. Detective Whitmore stepped forward. I also need to speak with her. One at a time, Dr. Brennan said, and only 5 minutes. She can't handle more than that. Victor entered the room. Rebecca was lying down, her wrists tied to the bed rails to prevent her from tearing out the tubes again. Grace was curled up in a chair in the corner, her eyes wide with fear. Grace, can you wait outside with the nurse? Victor asked gently. No! Rebecca screamed, her voice hoarse. She stays where I can see her. Rebecca, please, you don't give me orders anymore. Victor, not anymore. Victor approached the bed slowly, like someone approaching a wounded animal. I know you hate me. You have every right, but I need to understand what happened. What happened? Rebecca laughed, a bitter laugh that turned into a cough. What happened was you, Victor. You happened in my life like a hurricane and destroyed everything. I know, and there's no excuse for what I did. Excuse? Tears began streaming down Rebecca's face. Me. You made me believe you loved me. And when I told you I was pregnant, you know what you did? Victor lowered his head. You sent your lawyer with a check and a threat. You said if I said anything, you would destroy my life, destroy my family. Make it look like I was a lion gold digger. Rebecca, I was 23 years old. Vitored. I was alone, pregnant, without a job, without a reference. No one would hire me because you spread the word that I was incompetent and dishonest. I didn't know. You didn't know. Rebecca tried to sit up, the tube stretching. You knew exactly what you were doing. You wanted me to disappear, and I disappeared. I went as far as I could with the money you threw in my face. Grace was crying silently in the chair, hugging her knees. Mom, stop. Please, stop. Rebecca looked at her daughter, and something in her face changed. The anger gave way to a deep, devastating pain. My angel, come here. Grace ran to the bed and nestled in her mother's arms, being careful of the tubes. Forgive me, my love, Rebecca whispered. Forgive me for leaving you alone. You promised you'd come back. You promised. I know. And I tried. I swear I tried. What happened, Mom? Rebecca looked at Victor with hatred. Ask. Ask the man who ruined our lives. Rebecca, I had nothing to do with you, didn't? She laughed again. 3 days ago, I finally got a job. You know where? At Ashworth Global Investments. Your company, Victor. I spent 9 years hiding, and I finally worked up the courage to come back. I thought that maybe, just maybe, I could rebuild my life. Victor felt his stomach sink. You were hired by my company. I was. By the Human Resources Department. They didn't even know who I was. But you know what happened on my first day? Victor couldn't respond. Your head of security recognized me. That horrible man, Bernard Shaw, he called me into a room and said that people like me weren't welcome. He said if I didn't disappear immediately, he would make my daughter disappear first. What? He said you had given orders that anyone connected to the Rebecca Pierce problem should be eliminated. I never said that. I didn't even know you were in New York. And I'm supposed to believe you. Rebecca spat the words. You lied for months. You said you loved me while you went home to sleep with your pregnant wife. Victor recoiled as if he'd been slapped. That man followed me to the station, Rebecca continued. Tears streaming. I left Grace, hidden, and went to try to negotiate. He drugged me. Victor. He injected me with something and left me in an alley to die. My God. I spent 3 days in a nightmare. I didn't know where I was. I couldn't move. I couldn't think about my daughter waiting for me in that freezing station. Grace was sobbing in her mother's arms. Mom, I thought you had abandoned me. I thought I had done something wrong. Never, my love, never. I would die before I abandoned you. Victor was trembling with rage. Bernard Shaw, his head of security for 12 years, the man he trusted to protect his family, his company, his reputation. Rebecca, I swear on my daughter's memory that I never gave that order. Never. Your daughter. Rebecca looked at him with confusion. Isabel. She died 5 years ago. She was the same age as Grace. Something changed in Rebecca's eyes. It wasn't forgiveness, but perhaps a glimpse of humanity, recognizing another. I heard, she said quietly. I read it in the papers. I felt sorry for you, even after everything you did to me. Rebecca, I'm going to find out the truth. If Bernard did this without my authorization, he will pay. And if he did it with your authorization, then I'll turn myself in to the police. Grace lifted her head. Mr. Victor, what's going on? Why are you two fighting? Rebecca and Victor looked at each other. The question neither of them wanted to answer hung between them. Grace, Rebecca said softly, Mr. Victor. He what? Mom, Victor knelt beside the bed, bringing himself to Grace's eye level. Grace, I need to tell you something. Something that's going to be hard to hear. What? I'm your father. The silence that followed was deafening. Grace looked at Victor, then at Rebecca, then at Victor again. My father. Yes, the father who left. The father who didn't want me. Every word was a knife in Victor's heart. Yes. Grace pulled away from him slowly. You're the bad man who hurt my mother. Yes, Grace. I am. The girl climbed down from the bed and backed up against the wall, her eyes full of tears and something more. Something Victor recognized because he saw it in the mirror. Everyday disappointment. I don't want you as my father, Grace said, her voice trembling. I don't want you. And she ran out of the room, leaving behind a billionaire on his knees and a mother crying in silence. Victor ran after Grace, but Detective Whitmore intercepted him in the hallway. "Mr. Ashworth, the girl stays with us now." "No, she needs me. Needs you." The detective raised an eyebrow. "She just ran away from you. She clearly doesn't want you around. She's scared, confused. She just found out that you read the father who abandoned her before she was born." Whitmore finished. "Yes, I heard everything. Hospital walls are thin." Victor ran his hand through his hair, desperate. "Detective, I know how this looks, but I'm not the villain in this story. There's a man, Bernard Shaw. He works for me. He's the one who did this to Rebecca. And you expect me to believe that your own employee acted without your authorization? It's the truth. Then prove it." Victor looked down the hallway where Grace had disappeared. "Where is she?" "In the waiting room with a social worker. She'll be under temporary custody until we sort this situation out." "Custody?" "She has a mother in critical condition who might not survive the night. And the father she just met and clearly rejects. What do you suggest I do?" Victor took a deep breath, trying to think clearly. "Give me a few hours. I'll find Bernard Shaw and bring you the truth. And if you're lying, if you're an accomplice, if I'm lying, you can arrest me. But if I'm telling the truth, that man needs to be stopped before he hurts anyone else." Detective Whitmore studied him for a long moment. 3 hours, Mr. Ashworth. Not a minute more. Victor nodded and ran to the elevator. On the ground floor, Douglas was waiting with the car running. "Where to, sir?" "Bernard Shaw's house." "Now, sir, it's 11 at night, Christmas Eve." "I know what time it is. Douglas, move." The Rolls-Royce cut through the snow-covered streets toward Brooklyn. Victor called Miriam Patterson. "Mr. Ashworth, did something happen?" "Miriam, I need Bernard Shaw's home address." "Now, Bernard, the head of security." "Sir, he's off. Until Miriam, it's urgent. Life or death." A silence. Then, 847 Prospect Street, apartment 3B. "Thank you." "Sir, what's going on?" "I'll explain later." He hung up and looked out the window. Christmas lights twinkled on every house. Families gathered together, celebrating, and he was hunting a man who had almost killed his daughter's mother. 20 minutes later, the car stopped in front of a red brick building. It wasn't a bad neighborhood, but it wasn't luxurious either. Strange for a head of security who earned $200,000 a year. "Wait here," Victor told Douglas. "Sir, perhaps I should come with you." "No. If something happens, call the police." Victor climbed the stairs to the 3rd floor. "Apartment 3 Baiches." He knocked on the door hard. "Nothing." He knocked again. "Bernard, open this door!" Footsteps. The sound of a chain being removed. The door opened, revealing Bernard Shaw in a worn bathrobe, a glass of whiskey in his hand. "Mr. Ashworth." The man seemed genuinely surprised. "What are you doing here at this hour?" Victor pushed the door and entered without being invited. "We need to talk." "Sir, this is trespassing." Rebecca Pierce. "What did you do to her?" Bernard froze. "Only for a second, but it was enough." "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do. She told me everything. You threatened her, drugged her, left her to die." "That's ridiculous." "I don't even know this woman." Victor advanced, grabbing Bernard by the collar of his robe. Don't lie to me. I know you recognized her on her first day of work. I know you called her into a room, and I know you said you were following my orders. I was. The silence that followed was deafening. What? Victor whispered. Bernard broke free and stepped back a few paces. 9 years ago, you gave me a clear order. Any problem related to Rebecca Pierce was to be permanently eliminated. No questions, no traces. I never said that. Yes, you did. In writing, I've kept the memo to this day. Victor felt the world spin. Memo? What memo? Bernard went to a drawer and pulled out a yellowed folder. Inside, a piece of paper with the Ashworth Global Investments logo. Victor read the words. His signature at the bottom, dated 9 years ago. This is fake. I didn't write this. It's your signature, sir. It's a forgery. If it's a forgery, I wasn't the one who forged it. Victor looked at Bernard, trying to understand. Who gave you this document? Bernard hesitated. Who? Victor shouted. Your lawyer, Philip Crane. Philip Crane, the lawyer who had handled all of Victor's personal matters for 15 years. The man he had sent to deliver the check to Rebecca. The man who knew all his secrets. Philip did this. He said, it was your order. He said the woman was a threat to your family, to your reputation, that if she reappeared, she should be neutralized. Victor dropped the paper as if it burned. You almost killed a woman based on a document you never questioned. I was following orders. That's my job. Your job is to protect, not murder. I wasn't trying to murder anyone, Bernard shouted back. I just wanted to scare her. Make her go away. The drug was just to leave her confused for a few hours. She almost died. She's in the hospital fighting for her life. Bernard went pale. I didn't know. I didn't mean to. Victor advanced again, rage overflowing. Where is Philip Crane? I don't know. Where is he? He left 3 days ago, right after I reported that Rebecca had shown up. He said he was going to handle the problem personally. I never heard from him again. 3 days, the same amount of time Rebecca had been missing. Victor grabbed his phone and called Miriam. Miriam, where is Philip Crane? Mr. Crane. He took a last-minute vacation. Said he was going to the Bahamas. Verify it. Call all contacts, hotels, airlines. I need to find him. Sir, what's going on? Philip Crane isn't who we thought he was. He betrayed me for 9 years. He's been acting behind my back, destroying lives in my name. Silence on the line. Medium, sir. There's something you need to know. What? Philip Crane. He's been your lawyer for 15 years, right? Right. And before that, do you know where he worked? No. No. Why? He worked for your father. He was Robert Ashworth's personal lawyer before he died. Victor felt a chill run down his spine. His father, the man he hated more than anything in the world. The man who abandoned his mother when Victor was 10 years old. The man who built an empire on lies and manipulation. What does my father have to do with this? I don't know, sir. But maybe it's time to find out. Victor hung up. He looked at Bernard, who was trembling in the corner of the apartment. You're going to the police. Now, you're going to tell them everything you did and everything you know. They'll arrest me. It's the least you deserve. And if I refuse, Victor moved closer until he was inches from Bernard's face. then I will personally make sure you never work anywhere again. I will destroy your life like you almost destroyed Rebecca's. Choose. Bernard swallowed hard. Fine. I'll go. Victor left the apartment and ran down the stairs. In the car, he called Detective with, Detective, I have the man who drugged Rebecca Holloway. Bernard Schochel turned himself in at the nearest police station within an hour. And you? I need to find someone else. The one truly responsible for all of this. Who? My lawyer, Philip Crane. He's on the run. On the run from what? From me? From everything. He set up a conspiracy 9 years ago to destroy Rebecca, using my name, and I have a feeling this is just the tip of the iceberg. He hung up and looked at Douglas. Where to now, sir? Victor thought. Philip was too smart to leave obvious traces, but there was one place where he always kept his darkest secrets. To the company office, the confidential archives section. Sir, it's Christmas Eve. The building is closed. I own the building, Douglas. Nothing is closed to me. The car took off through the snow, leaving behind a man who would soon be in jail and carrying another who was about to discover truths that would change everything he thought he knew about his own life. The Ashworth Global Investments building rose imposingly against Manhattan's night sky. 50 floors of glass and steel, a symbol of power and success. Victor entered through the underground parking garage using his personal key. Wait here, he told Douglas. If I'm not back in an hour, call the police. Sir, this is getting dangerous. I know. That's why I need to go alone. The elevator rose silently to the 40th floor, where Philip Crane's office was located. Victor walked down the dark hallway, his footsteps echoing on the marble. The office door was locked. Victor used the master key he carried for emergencies. What he found inside made him stop drawers open. Papers scattered across the floor. Philip's personal safe, wide open and empty. He's already been here, Victor murmured. He searched through what remained. Financial reports, old contracts, nothing relevant. He was about to give up when something caught his attention. A photograph that had fallen behind the desk. Victor bent down to pick it up, and his heart stopped. The photo showed 3 people. His father, Robert Ashworth, much younger. Philip Crane beside him. And between them, a blonde woman holding a baby. Rebecca. It can't be, Victor whispered. He turned the photo over. On the back, a date and a note. R.A. PC and the new acquisition. Projector. What the hell was that? Victor's phone rang. A no number. Hello, Victor. Philip Crane's voice sounded calm, controlled. I see you're rummaging through my office. Where are you, you bastard? Where? You'll never find me. But that's not why I called. I called to offer you a deal. A deal. You almost killed my daughter's mother. Your daughter? Philippa laughed. Is that what you think Grace is? I know she's my daughter. You don't know anything, Victor. You never did. Your father kept you in the dark your whole life, and I continued the work after he died. Victor felt his legs weaken. What are you talking about? Find your father's secret safe. It's in the basement of the country house in Connecticut. The combination is your mother's birth date. There, you'll find all the answers. Why are you telling me this? Because it doesn't matter anymore. You can discover the truth, Victor. But the truth won't change anything. Grace will never accept you. Rebecca will die hating you. And you'll spend the rest of your life knowing you are a pawn in your own father's game. Philippa Cole. Disconnected, Victor stood still, the photo trembling in his hands. What did his father have to do with Rebecca? With Grace? What was Project Dare? He ran back to the elevator. In the parking garage, he shouted to Douglas, Connecticut, the country house. Now, sir, that's almost a 2-hour drive. Then don't waste time. The car sped off. Victor called Detective Whitmore. Detective, I need you to check something. Robert Ashworth, my father, he died 12 years ago. I need any information about his connections to Rebecca Pierce or Philip Crane. Mr. Ashworth, this is becoming much bigger than a child neglect case. I know. Please, it's urgent. I'll see what I can find. The next 2 hours were the longest of Victor's life. The snow was getting heavier, making visibility difficult. Douglas drove at the limit, but carefully. Victor closed his eyes and thought about Grace. The way she looked at him when she discovered the truth, the contempt, the disappointment. Exactly how he used to look at his own father as a child. I became him, Victor murmured. I became the person I hated most. At 3 a.m, the car finally arrived at the Connecticut property. The country house was dark, abandoned since Robert Ashworth's death. Victor had never returned there. He had too many memories of that place. Bad memories. He entered through the back door, which still responded to his fingerprint. The old alarm beeped, but there was no one to hear the basement. Philip said the safe was in the basement. Victor descended the creaky wooden stairs. The smell of mold and abandonment filled the air. He found the safe behind an old bookshelf, exactly where Philip said. The combination, his mother's birth date, March 15th, 1942, 150342. The safe opened with a click. Inside, there were folders. Dozens of folders yellowed by time. Victor grabbed the first one and began to read. And each page destroyed everything he thought he knew about his life. Project Erde, title read. Continuity plan for the Ashworth lineage. The documents revealed a monstrous conspiracy. Robert Ashworth, unable to have more children after Victor, had created a contingency plan. If something happened to his only son, the fortune needed another heir. Rebecca Pierce was no coincidence. She had been chosen. Selected by Philip Crane from dozens of candidates, young, intelligent, healthy, with no family, who could cause problems. My God, Victor whispered, his hands trembling. The plan was simple and diabolical. Rebecca would be placed as Victor's assistant. Seduction would be facilitated, a pregnancy would be accidental, and the resulting child would be kept secret as a Bikapi heir. They planned everything from the beginning, but there was more. Victor kept reading and found something that made his heart stop completely. A DNA test dated 8 years ago, shortly after Grace's birth. The results showed that Grace Holloway was not Victor Ashworth's daughter. She was Robert Ashworth's daughter, his half-sister. No, Victor let the papers fall. No. His father had used Rebecca before him, had gotten her pregnant first, and then when Victor also got involved with her, Philip created the narrative that the child was his. A lie within a lie. Victor fell to his knees, sobbing like he hadn't since Isabel's death. Why? Why did he do this? The answer was in the last folder, a letter written by Robert Ashworth himself to be delivered to Victor after his death. A letter that Philip never delivered. My son, the letter said, if you're reading this, it means the truth has finally come to light. I won't ask for forgiveness because I know I don't deserve it. but I need you to understand. I always knew you hated me. I always knew you considered me a monster. And you were right. I am. Rebecca was a mistake. One of many I made. When I found out she was pregnant, I panicked. I couldn't let another scandal destroy our family, so I created Project Air. I manipulated you into getting close to her. I made it look like the child was yours. Grace's, your sister, Victor, your half-sister, your blood, even if not in the way you thought. I died without the courage to tell the truth, but I leave this letter as my final act of cowardice, passing the responsibility to you. Take care of Grace. Take care of Rebecca. Fix what I destroyed. Maybe then you can be the man I never was, your father, Robert. Victor sat on the cold basement floor for a long time. The tears had dried. The shock had given way to something deeper. Clarity. Grace wasn't his daughter. She was his sister. A sister who had spent her entire life suffering because of their father's sins. And Rebecca had been a victim of both Robert and Victor. Used, discarded, destroyed by men who thought they were above consequences. Victor stood up. He put the letter in his pocket, and he climbed the stairs with renewed determination. It didn't matter anymore who was whose father. What mattered was the present. What mattered was fixing what could be fixed. He grabbed his phone and called the hospital. Room 412, Rebecca Holloway. What's her condition? One moment, sir. A pause. The patient is stable. She responded well to treatment over the past few hours. Is she going to survive? It's still too early to guarantee, but the signs are positive. Victor closed his eyes, relieved. And her daughter, Grace? The girl is sleeping in the waiting room. She refused to leave. She stayed. She said she wasn't going to abandon her mother, that she had promised. Victor smiled through his tears. Tell her I'm on my way back, and that I'm bringing the truth. He hung up and looked at Douglas. Back to Manhattan. The city. The sun was beginning to rise on the horizon. Christmas Day. A day of miracles, they said, and Victor Ashworth, for the first time in years, believed that miracles were possible. The Christmas sun illuminated Manhattan when Victor entered Bellevue Hospital. He hadn't slept, hadn't eaten, but he had never felt so awake in his life. Detective Whitmore was waiting for him in the lobby. Mr. Ashworth, we received Bernard Shaw's confession. He confirmed everything you said. And Philip Crane, still at large, but we've issued an international arrest warrant. He won't get far. Thank you, Detective. We're not done yet. I need to know what you found in Connecticut. Victor hesitated. The truth about Grace, about his father. It was so heavy he could barely carry it. Later. First, I need to talk to Rebecca and Grace. The girl spent the whole night here. She wouldn't leave. I know. That's why I need to see her. He went up to the 4th floor. The hallway was quiet, illuminated by the soft morning light. In the waiting room, he found Grace curled up in a chair, sleeping with Victor's coat still over her shoulders. He knelt beside her. Grace, he whispered. Grace, wake up. Her blue eyes opened slowly. When she recognized Victor, Grace immediately pulled away. What do you want? To talk. Please, I have nothing to say to you. I know you're angry. You have every right to be. But I discovered things tonight, things that change everything. Nothing changes the fact that you abandoned my mother. You're right. I did abandon her. I was cowardly, selfish, cruel. But the story is more complicated than it seems. I don't care. Grace, please, give me 5 minutes. If after that you still want me to leave, I'll go, I promise. The girl studied him with distrust, but there was something in Victor's eyes that wasn't there before. Something broken, but also something true. 5 minutes, she said finally. Victor sat in the chair beside her. My father was a very bad man, Grace. Much worse than I ever was. He hurt a lot of people during his life, including my mother, including me. So what? So he also hurt your mother? Before me? Long before. Grace frowned. What do you mean? Your mother met my father first. He used her, just like I did later. But he did worse. He planned everything from the beginning. Planned what? Victor took a deep breath. How do you explain something so monstrous to an 8th Grace? Do you know what a family secret is? Yes, it's something only the family knows. Exactly. And sometimes those secrets are very bad. So bad that people prefer to hide them forever. What secret? Victor took the letter from his pocket. His hands were trembling. My father wrote this before he died. It's a confession. He tells everything he did. What did he do? He's your father, Grace, not me. The silence that followed was absolute. Grace looked at Victor without understanding. My father? But you said it was you. I thought it was. Everyone thought so. But my father lied. He manipulated your mother, manipulated me, manipulated everyone. So you're not my father? No, I'm your brother, your half-brother. Grace blinked several times, processing. Brother, yes, we have the same father, Robert Ashworth. But I don't understand. Why did he do this? Because he was a sick man, Grace. Sick with greed, with power, with control. He wanted to make sure there would always be an heir to his fortune. You are Plan B, in case something happened to me. Plan B? What do you mean, Plan B? He didn't see people as people. He saw them as pieces in a game. Your mother, you, me. We were all pieces to him. Grace started to cry. That's horrible. I know. It's the most horrible thing I've ever heard in my life. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything my family did to you. But you did bad things too. You sent my mother away. I did, and I'll carry that guilt for the rest of my life. But I want you to know something, Grace. What? Victor gently held the girl's hands. Even though I'm not your father, I want to take care of you. I want to take care of your mother. I want to fix what can be fixed. Why? You don't even know me. Because you're my sister, my own flesh and blood. And because I've already lost too many people in this life. I don't want to lose anyone else. Who did you lose? My daughter, Isabel. She died 5 years ago. She was your age. Grace's eyes went wide. You had a daughter. I did. She was the light of my life. When she died, I died with her. I closed myself off from the world, became cold, cruel. I became just like my father. Do you miss her? Every day. Every second of every day. Grace was silent for a moment. Then she did something Victor didn't expect. She reached out and touched his face. "You're crying," she said. Aren't adults supposed to not cry? Adults feel pain too, Grace. Sometimes more than children. My mom cried a lot, especially at night when she thought I was sleeping. Your mother went through terrible things. Things no one should go through. Is she going to be okay? The doctors said she's getting better. Can I see her? Let's go ask. They went together to room 412. A nurse intercepted them at the door. The patient just woke up. She's asking for her daughter. Can I go in? Grace asked anxiously. You can, but slowly, okay. She's still weak. Grace ran inside. Victor stayed at the door, watching. Mom! Rebecca opened her arms, and Grace dove into them. Mother and daughter embraced as if the world were ending. My angel, my little angel. Are you okay? I am, Mom. I am. Forgive me. Please forgive me for leaving you alone. I already forgave you, Mom. I already forgave you. Rebecca looked up and saw Victor in the doorway. Her face closed off. What is he doing here? Mom, wait. He told me things. Important things. I don't want to hear anything he has to say. But Mom, Grace, this man destroyed our lives? Victor took a step forward. Rebecca, I know you hate me, but you need to hear what I found out. I don't need to hear anything. It's about my father. About what he did to you. Rebecca went still. Your father, Robert Ashworth. You knew him, didn't you? Before you knew me. Rebecca's face went white. How do you know about that? I found his documents, Project Air, everything. No, that's not possible. Grace isn't my daughter, Rebecca. She's my sister, my father's daughter. Rebecca started to tremble. He promised no one would ever know. My father was a liar, just like Philip Crane. They manipulated both of us from the beginning. I didn't want you to know. Why, Rebecca? Why didn't you tell me? Tears streamed down her face. Because I was ashamed. Your father promised me the world. He said he was going to give me a better life. And when I got pregnant, he threw me away like garbage. Then you came along. Handsome, kind, seeming so different from him. I thought maybe that I could be your salvation. Yes, but you were the same, just like him. I know, and I'm sorry. Grace looked back and forth between them, confused. Mom, what does all this mean? Rebecca hugged her daughter tightly. It means your story is more complicated than I told you, my love. It means I lied to protect you. Lied about what? About your father. About everything. But now we know the truth, Vitor said. And the truth can be the beginning of something new. Rebecca looked at him with distrust. Why should I trust you? You shouldn't. I don't deserve your trust, but I deserve a chance to prove I can be different. How? Let me take care of you both. Not as Grace's father, but as her brother. Not as your ex-lover, but as someone who owes an enormous debt and wants to pay it. Money doesn't fix everything, Victor. I know. I'm not just offering money. I'm offering my presence, support, a family. Family? Rebecca laughed bitterly. Your family destroyed mine. Then let me rebuild it. Please. Grace held her mother's hand. Mom, give him a chance, he cried. Adults who cry can't be that bad. Rebecca looked at her daughter, then at Chivit. The anger was still there, but there was something more. Something that looked like exhaustion. Exhaustion from fighting alone. "One chance," she said finally. "Just one. If you disappoint me again, Vitor Ashworth, I swear, Altai, I won't disappoint you. I promise." "Don't promise. Prove it." Victor nodded. "I'll prove it. Every day for the rest of my life." And there, in that hospital room, on Christmas morning, 3 broken people began to piece themselves back together. Not as the family they expected to have, but as the family fate had given them. A family built not by blood, but by choice. And sometimes those are the strongest families of all. 3 weeks had passed since that Christmas Eve that changed everything. Rebecca had been discharged from the hospital and was now recovering in an apartment Victor had rented on the Upper West Side. Nothing extravagant, she had insisted. Just a safe, warm place with 2 bedrooms and a view of Central Park. "Mom, look, you can see the ice skaters from here." Grace was glued to the window, her eyes shining with excitement. It had been 3 weeks since she'd slept on the street. 3 weeks of eating 3 meals a day. 3 weeks of smiling. "It's beautiful, sweetheart," Rebecca said from the couch. Still weak, but visibly better. The doorbell rang. Grace ran to answer it. "Victor!" She hugged him tight. Over the past few weeks, something had changed between them. The initial distrust had given way to cautious curiosity, and curiosity was slowly transforming into affection. "I brought you something," Vitor said, pulling a box from behind his back. "What is it?" "Open it." Grace tore the wrapping paper and let out a scream. "Books, Mom, look. Real books." They were illustrated children's books, classics that every child should know. Alice in Wonderland, The Little Prince, The Never-Ending Story. "You said you wanted to learn to read," Victor explained. "I thought we could start with these." "You're going to teach me. If you want, I want to. I really want to." Grace ran to the couch and sat next to her mother, leafing through the books with reverence. Victor approached Rebecca. "How are you feeling?" "Better. A little better every day. The doctors said the physical therapy is helping." "It is, Doctor. Coleman is very good." Victor nodded. He had hired the best specialists in the city, not for show, but out of necessity. Rebecca had years of trauma in her body and mind. "Can I sit?" Rebecca hesitated, then made room on the couch. "Victor, we need to talk." "About what?" "About the future. You've been incredibly generous, but I can't accept charity for the rest of my life." "It's not charity. It's responsibility. Even so, I need to work. I need to have my own life. And you will, when you're ready." "I'm ready now." "Rebecca, you almost died 3 weeks ago, and I was reborn, literally. I have a second chance, and I'm not going to waste it." Victor looked at her with admiration. After everything she'd been through, this woman still had the strength to fight. "What do you want to do?" "Before everything fell apart, I was studying accounting. I was 1 semester away from graduating." "I didn't know that." "There was a lot you didn't know about me, Victor. You only saw what you wanted to see." "I know. And I'm sorry." "Stop apologizing. I get it. You're sorry. Now I want actions, not words." "Then tell me what I can do." "Pay for my college. Not the apartment, not the clothes, not the luxuries, just college. The rest I'll handle myself." "Rebecca, it's that or nothing. Victor, I'll accept help to grow, not to become dependent. Victor smiled. The Rebecca he knew 9 years ago was sweet, submissive, easy to manipulate. The Rebecca before him was a warrior. Deal. College paid for. Anything else? Yes. I want you to spend time with Grace. Real time. Not just gifts and quick visits. I do spend time. No, you show up. That's different. She needs consistency. Victor, she needs to know she can count on you. She can prove it. Before Victor could respond, his phone rang. He looked at the screen and frowned. I need to take this. It's Detective Whitmore. He stepped away to the kitchen. Detective, Mr. Ashworth, we have a problem. What kind of problem? Philip Crane, he's back in the United States. Victor's blood ran cold. What do you mean, back? He entered through Mexico 2 days ago. Our agents lost his trail in San Diego. Why would he come back? He knows he's wanted. We don't know, but there's something else. He made a call this morning to a number in New York. What number? Rebecca Holloway's old number? Victor looked at the living room where Rebecca and Grace were leafing through the books together, oblivious to the danger. He's coming after them. That's what we suspect. I recommend immediate protection. Send a team. Now, already on the way. But, Mr. Ashworth, there's one more thing. What? The call Crane made? He left a voicemail. What did it say? Tell Victor we're not finished yet. Project Air has one final phase, and Grace is the key. Victor hung up with trembling hands. Project Air. Final phase. What the hell had his father planned? He returned to the living room, trying to stay calm. Everything okay? Rebecca asked, noticing how pale he'd gone. Everything's fine, but we need to talk. Private. Rebecca looked at Grace. Sweetheart, why don't you go to your room and read one of the new books? But I want to stay here. Grace, please. The girl pouted but obeyed. When the bedroom door closed, Victor sat beside Rebecca. What happened? She asked, fear returning to her eyes. Philip Crane. He's back. Rebecca went white. No, it can't be. The police are sending protection. You'll be safe. Victor, you don't understand. Philip Crane isn't just a lawyer. He was your father's right-hand man. He knows things. Terrible things. What kind of things? Your father had plans for Grace. Plans that went beyond simply having a backup heir. What plans? Rebecca took a deep breath. When I got pregnant, your father told me something. He said Grace would be special, that she had a specific destiny. Destiny? What destiny? He never fully explained. He just said that when Grace turned 10, everything would be revealed. 10 years old. She turns 9 in March. 1 year left, Victor. 1 year to find out what your father planned. Does Philip know? Philip was the executor of the plan. He knows everything. Victor stood up, pacing back and forth. We need to find out first. We need to know what we're dealing with. How? The documents you found didn't tell everything. Apparently not. There was more stuff in that safe that I didn't read. I was in shock. I wasn't thinking straight. Then go back, find the rest, and leave you two alone. No way. The police will be here, and you need to find the truth. Rebecca, she stood up and held his face with both hands. Victor, listen. I spent 9 years running 9 years afraid, hiding, suffering. I'm tired of running. If there's something that can end this once and for all, you need to find it. What if I can't? You will, because now you have something to fight for. What? Your sister, your family? Who is? Victor looked into her eyes. There was no more anger there. There was determination. There was strength. And there was something more. Something he didn't dare name. I'll go, he said, but I'll be back before dark. We'll be waiting. Victor went to Grace's room. The girl was lying on the bed, pretending to read a book upside down. I know you were listening at the door, he said. Grace lowered the book, guilty. The bad man is coming back, isn't he? He is, but he's not going to hurt you. How do you know? Because I won't let him. No one is going to hurt you or your mother as long as I live. Promise. Victor knelt beside the bed. Remember the pendant you wear? The silver angel? Grace touched the necklace around her neck. My mom said it protects me. Well, now you have 2 angels, the pendant and me. And angels never abandon the ones they protect. Grace smiled, a small but genuine smile. You're a strange angel. Aren't angels supposed to be good from the start? Some angels need to learn to be good. I'm one of those. So, you're an angel in training? Exactly. And you're my teacher? Grace laughed, and the sound filled the room like music. Okay, angel in training. Go, save today. Mom and I will wait here. Victor kissed her forehead and left. In the hallway, he found 2 police officers who had just arrived. No one goes in or out without my authorization, he said. Any suspicious movement, call me immediately. Yes, sir. Victor got into the elevator, his heart heavy but determined. Philip Crane was coming. Project Air had one final phase, and somewhere in that safe in Connecticut was the key to unraveling everything. He only hoped he would reach the truth before it was too late. Victor's car was cutting through the road toward Connecticut when his phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Hello, Victor! Did you miss me? Philip Crane's voice made Victor's blood run cold. Where are you, you bastard? Closer than you think. By the way, nice apartment you set up for Rebecca? View of Central Park and everything? Victor felt panic rising in his throat. If you touch them easy. I have no interest in hurting them. At least not yet. What do you want? What I've always wanted. To complete the work your father started. Project Air. What the hell is the final phase? Philip laughed on the other end of the line. Your father was a genius, Victor. A monster, yes, but a genius. He knew you were weak, sentimental, incapable of doing what needs to be done to maintain an empire. What are you talking about? Grace isn't just the backup heir. She's the primary heir. What? Your father changed his will 6 months before he died. Everything, absolutely everything, goes to Grace when she turns 10. The company, the properties, the billions. You get nothing. Victor almost lost control of the car. That's a lie. It's the absolute truth. Why do you think I kept Rebecca and Grace hidden all these years? Why do you think I tried to get rid of them when they reappeared? You knew the whole time. Of course, I knew. I drafted the will. And I also drafted a special clause. If Grace dies before she turns 10, everything goes to a foundation that I control. The realization hit Victor like lightning. You wanted to kill Grace to get the fortune. you finally understand. Took a while, but you got there. You monster. She's a child. A child worth $4.7 billion. You know how much that is per pound? I'm going to kill you, Philip. I swear to God, I'm going to kill you. No, you won't. Because if you don't do exactly what I say, your two pretty little cops are going to find out that bulletproof vests don't protect the head. Victor felt the world collapse. You're in the apartment. I am. And Rebecca and Grace are here with me, very quiet. Want to say hi to them? There was a sound of movement. Then Grace's voice, trembling with fear. Victor, Grace, are you okay? He heard the police officers. There's blood everywhere. Listen, everything's going to be fine. I promise. I'm going to... Philip's voice returned. How touching. The angel in training is going to save the day. But first, you're going to do something for me? What? Go back to Manhattan. Go to the company office. In the main safe, there's a document your father left. The original amendment to the will, with his authenticated signature. And what do you want me to do with it? Destroy it. Burn it. Without that document, the old will prevails. You inherit everything, and Grace gets nothing. And then you transfer half the fortune to my account in the Cayman Islands. In exchange, I release Rebecca and Grace alive. How will I know you won't kill them as soon as you have the money? You won't know, but it's a risk you'll have to take. Or would you prefer I start cutting off fingers? Grace has 10 tiny little fingers. I can send them one by one through the mail. Nitrosamine oxide. I'll do it. I'll do whatever you want. Excellent. You have 2 hours. Not a minute more. They call disconnected. Victor pulled the car onto the shoulder, his hands shaking so badly he couldn't hold the steering wheel. 2 hours. He needed to think. He needed a plan. He called Detective Whitmore. Detective! Philip Crane is in Rebecca's apartment. He has hostages. My God, the officers wounded or dead. I don't know. He wants me to destroy a document and transfer money. Don't do any of that. I'll send a tactical team. No. If he sees police, he'll kill them both. I know. Philip, he's not bluffing. Then what do you suggest? Give me an hour. I'll go to the office, get the document, but I won't destroy it. I'll use it as a bargaining chip. It's too risky. She's my sister, detective, my family. I'll risk whatever it takes. He hung up and accelerated back to Manhattan. Traffic was hellish, but Victor drove like a madman, honking, passing, ignoring traffic lights. 40 minutes later, he arrived at the Ashworth Global Investments building. The night security guard was startled to see him. Mr. Ashworth, is everything okay? I need access to the main safe. Now. But sir, standard procedure requires 2 people. Now. The guard stepped back and cleared the way. Victor descended to the basement, where the high-security vault was located. He entered his code, completed the biometric scan, and the steel door opened. Inside, he found stacks of documents, jewelry, cash, but he was looking for something specific, a red folder with the Ashworth family seal. He found it, he opened it, and read the contents. It was exactly what Philip said, the amended will, leaving everything to Grace. Robert Ashworth's signature, dated 6 months before his death, and there was something more. A letter addressed to Victor. My son, it said. If you're reading this, it means Philip has finally shown his claws. He's not who you think. Philip Crane is my illegitimate son. your half-brother, and he's hated you since the day he was born. Victor felt his legs weaken. Philip was his brother. He kept reading. Your mother never knew. No one knew. Philip was my darkest secret. I raised him in the shadows, used him as a tool, but never gave him what he wanted most: recognition. When I found out I was dying, I decided to do the right thing for the first time in my life. I left everything to Grace, the only innocent one in this cursed family. You, Victor, always had everything. Philip always had nothing, and Grace deserved a chance to have something. But I knew Philip. I knew he would try to destroy Grace to get the fortune. That's why I left one final safeguard. In the false bottom of the safe, there's a gun. Load it. It's the same gun I used to build my empire, removing anyone who got in my way. Use it if you need to, or don't. The choice is yours. Perhaps this is the only freedom I'm giving you. The choice to be different from me. Your father, Robert. Victor put the letter away and searched for the false bottom. He found the gun, a nickel-plated pistol, cold and heavy. He looked at it for a long moment. He could kill Philip, end everything, be just like his father, or he could find another way. He tucked the gun into his belt and left the vault. On the way to Rebecca's apartment, he called Detective Whitmore. Again, Detective, I need you to listen carefully. Philip Crane is my half-brother, my father's illegitimate son. What? There's no time to explain. Position snipers on the buildings around Rebecca's apartment. When I give the signal, I want them to shoot. What signal? I'll turn the lights on and off 3 times. Mr. Ashworth, this is insane. It's the only chance. Trust me. He hung up and parked in front of the building. He took a deep breath. He touched the gun at his belt. For you, he whispered. For Grace, for Rebecca, for Isabel. He went up. The apartment door was ajar. Victor entered slowly. The living room was destroyed. Furniture overturned. Blood on the floor. The 2 police officers lay unconscious in the corner, but they were breathing. And in the center of the chaos, Philip Crane held Grace by the neck, a gun pointed at her head. Welcome, little brother, Philip smiled. Did you bring what I asked for? Victor raised the red folder. It's here. Now let her go. First, burn it. First, let her go. Philip tightened his arm around Grace's neck, and she cried out in pain. You're not in a position to negotiate, Victor. Actually, I am. Victor pulled the gun from his belt and aimed at Philip. Recognize this? It was Daddy's. Philip's eyes went wide. How did you? He left a letter. Told me everything about you being my brother, about your plan. Then, you know, I deserved more. I was the firstborn. I should have inherited everything. You were a dirty secret. He hid his whole life, just like he hid Grace, just like he hid all his atrocities. Shut up. Our father was a monster, Philip, and you became just like him. But I won't. Victor lowered the gun. You can kill Grace. You can kill me. But I'm not going to destroy this document, and I'm not going to give you a cent. You're bluffing. Am I? Look into my eyes and tell me if I'm bluffing. Philip looked and saw something he didn't expect to see. Peace. You've lost your mind, Philip whispered. No. For the first time in my life, I'm sane. Victor walked to the window and turned on the light. Off. On. Off. On. What are you doing? Giving the signal. The glass exploded. Philip fell backward, hit in the shoulder by a precision shot. The gun flew from his hand. Grace ran into Victor's arms. "Victor! Victor! I'm here! I'm here!" Police stormed the apartment. Rebecca emerged from the bedroom where she'd been tied up, crying with relief. "Grace! My baby!" Mother and daughter embraced on the floor among the wreckage. Victor looked at Philip, who was being handcuffed by the officers, blood streaming from his shoulder. "It's over, Philip." "Nothing's over." Philip screamed, being dragged away. "You're going to pay. You're going to pay for everything. I already paid. My whole life I paid for our father's sins, but now I'm free." Philip was taken away. The apartment filled with paramedics, police officers, technicians, but in the center of the chaos, Victor, Rebecca, and Grace remained embraced. A family forged in pain, united by love, and finally free. 1 week after the confrontation with Philip, Victor was sitting in the district attorney's office, signing the last documents. "Mr. Ashworth, are you sure about this?" Prosecutor Franklin looked at him in disbelief. "You're giving up contesting the will. Grace Holloway will inherit everything when she turns 10. I'm sure we're talking about $4.7 billion. We're talking about my sister. She deserves every penny." The prosecutor shook his head, unable to understand. "I've never seen anyone give up a fortune like this. Maybe because you've never met someone who lost everything that mattered and had the chance to get it back." Victor signed the last paper and stood up. "How many years will Philip Crane get with the charges of kidnapping, attempted murder, and conspiracy?" "At least 30. Probably, Marty." "Good. Mr. Ashworth, can I ask you something personal?" "Go ahead. Why protect this girl so much? She's not even your daughter." Victor smiled. "No, she's something better. She's my chance at redemption." He left the office and found Rebecca and Grace waiting in the hallway. Grace ran to him. "So, what happened?" "What happened is that you're going to be a very rich girl when you grow up." "Rich? Me? You? Our father left everything to you." Grace frowned. "But I don't want to be rich. Being rich is boring." "You're rich and you were always sad." Victor laughed, a genuine laugh that surprised even himself. "You're right. Being rich without having love is the worst poverty there is. So you're not going to be sad anymore." "No, because now I have you." Rebecca approached, her eyes glistening. "Victor, you didn't have to do this. Give up everything." "Yes, I did." That money was built on blood and lies. In Grace's hands, maybe it can finally do some good. But what about you? How are you going to live? Working, like everyone else. Actually, I've been thinking about starting a foundation to help women in vulnerable situations. Women like you once were. Rebecca was speechless. Tears flowed freely. "Why are you doing all this?" "Because it's the right thing to do. And because I owe you. I owe you. I owe Grace. I owe all the people my family hurt. You're not your family, Victor. No, not anymore. Thanks to you." 10 years later, the Columbia University auditorium was packed. Hundreds of people applauded as an 18-year-old young woman walked onto the stage to receive her diploma. Grace Holloway Ashworth graduated with honors in law, specializing in human rights. In the audience, Victor applauded with tears in his eyes. Beside him, Rebecca held his hand tightly. "Look, Hachi," her Rebecca whispered. Our girl. Our girl. Victor repeated. 10 years had passed since that Christmas Eve at Grand Central Terminal. 10 years since a dirty, hungry little girl grabbed the coat of a billionaire and changed both their lives forever. Grace took the microphone to deliver the valedictorian speech. When I was 8 years old, she began, I lived on the street. I had no home, no food, no hope. My mother was sick, and I thought I was going to die alone in a train station. The silence in the auditorium was absolute. But on Christmas Eve, a man stopped. He could have kept walking, like everyone else did. He could have ignored another invisible child. But he stopped. He asked my name. Grace looked at Victor in the audience. That man wasn't my father, but he became so much more than that. He became my brother, my protector, my role model. He taught me that it doesn't matter where you come from. What matters is where you're going. Tears streamed down Victor's face. When I turned 10, I inherited a fortune I didn't ask for and didn't deserve. Billions of dollars built by a cruel man who never loved me. Do you know what I did with that money? Grace smiled. I donated every penny. I created the Hope Foundation, which has already taken more than 10,000 children off the streets. I built shelters, schools, hospitals. I transformed a legacy of hatred into a legacy of love. The auditorium erupted in applause. Today, I graduate with a law degree, not to get rich. I've already been rich. It didn't do anything for me. I graduate to fight for those who have no voice, for the invisible children everyone ignores, for the single mothers who struggle alone, for the forgotten, the abandoned, those who have lost hope. Grace raised her diploma. This diploma is dedicated to 3 people. To my mother, Rebecca, who taught me that love doesn't need money. To my brother, Victor, who taught me that it's never too late to change. And to my sister, Isabel, whom I never met, but who lives in the heart of the man who saved me. Vito sobbed. Rebecca embraced him. Isabel, Grace continued, wherever you are, know that your father became the man you always deserved, and I promise to honor your memory every day of my life. The auditorium rose in a standing ovation. Grace came down from the stage and ran into the arms of Victor and Rebecca. I love you, she said. I love you so much. We love you too, Victor whispered. More than words can say. That night, the 3 of them had dinner together in the apartment they shared on the Upper West Side. The same apartment where everything almost ended. The same apartment where everything truly began. Remember when you first brought me here? Grace asked, looking out the window. I thought it was a castle. You asked if people lived here. Victor laughed. And you said some did. And now you live here for 10 years. Crazy, right? Life. Rebecca placed a hand on each of their shoulders. It's not crazy, it's destiny. God put you in each other's path that night for a reason. You think so, Mom? I'm Sid. There's no such thing as coincidence when it comes to love. Victor looked at the 2 women who had transformed his life. The mother he had almost destroyed and the sister he never knew he had. You know what I think about sometimes? He said. What? I think about what my life would be like if I had UN stopped at that station. If I had kept walking, ignored you like I ignored everyone else. And what would it be like? Empty, cold, dead. I would be alive, but I wouldn't be living. Grace held his hand. But you stopped. I did. Why? You said you didn't help anyone, that you weren't a social worker. Victor thought for a moment. Your eyes. When I looked at you that night, I saw Isabel's The same color, the same sparkle, the same stubborn hope that refuses to die. And what you see now? Victor smiled through his tears. I see my sister. I see my family. I see my reason for living. Grace hugged him tight. I love you, Victor. Not as a father, not as a brother. I love you as the person who saved me when I was lost. The person who gave me a chance when no one else would. I love you too, Grace. You saved me just as much as I saved you. Rebecca joined the embrace. Look at us, 3 broken people who came together and formed something whole. A family, Grace said. The best family, Victor added. Outside, snow was beginning to fall over Manhattan. It was Christmas Eve again. Exactly 10 years since that encounter at Grand Central Terminal. And as the 3 of them remained embraced, watching the snow blanket the city, Victor finally understood what his father could never understand. Wealth isn't measured in money, it's measured in hugs, in smiles, in shared tears, in people who choose to stay when they could walk away. It's measured in love. And by that measure, Victor Ashworth was the richest man in the world. And what about you, dear friend? If this story touched your heart, if you cried, smiled, and cheered along with Victor, Rebecca, and Grace, leave your like right now. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any emotional stories like this one. Comment below. Which part moved you the most? Tell us what city or country you're watching this story from. We want to know where our friends are. And if you want more stories that warm the heart and renew your faith in humanity, binge watch the other stories on the channel. Each one is a unique journey of overcoming love and second chances. Thank you so much for being here with us. You're part of this family. Until the next story.